Hey guys, how's it going? Today I wanted to talk about how to add markups and fees to your estimate. If you notice on the spreadsheet, we've got an estimate similar to what we created last time. Um, and so now that the body of the estimate is put together, the cost of construction, we've got to add markups. And the reason we do that is that we're not just charging the cost of construction. At the very most, we will break even on our project, and more likely we will actually lose money if we just charge this. And so we've done the work, we've done our takeoffs, we've built our estimate. Now it's kind of the easy part, but also the crucial step of adding in markups. So let's go ahead and get started. Um, we're going to jump here to cell B8, and we're going to type in BRGL, which stands for Builder's Risk and General Liability. This is a really general and really common type of insurance for contractors to charge um, as they put their estimates together. Depending on the type of contract that you're working with, depending on what the owner requires, this may actually be a requirement for the project. And so make sure to understand what type of insurance is required for your project. And also, if you're a contractor, what type of insurance you want to charge to protect yourself against any sort of liability. And so BRGL, those two types of insurance are pretty broad, and they'll cover in a wide sense, property damage, bodily injury, anything that might be considered kind of common on a construction project. It's worth looking into. But we're gonna add it into this estimate. We're gonna go here in column E and type in just the decimals of point zero, and for our purposes, we'll say it's 1.35%. Again, that may change, so look at your policies and make sure you understand what you should be charging. But 1.0, or sorry, 0.0135, and we're going to add three more below this. So let's go ahead and highlight this cell E8. Let's press Shift and down key. Let's see, down to E11, and let's go to the number tab and select the accounting function. Oh, sorry, the percentage function. Excuse me. And then let's increase our decimal. Oh, 2 points so that we know exactly um, what our percentage is for our builder's risk and general liability insurance. Okay, the next one we're going to charge is contingency. And contingency may be contracted depending on what the owner requires or the general contractor requires. Sometimes it's up to you. Contingency is tough because you want to be covered on anything unexpected that happens on your project that the owner may not cover on a change order. But you also don't want to overburden what you're charging the owner because you can potentially lose the job. And so, depending on the type of project, you may charge anywhere from 1% to 6%. It really could just change on what you're doing. The best way to determine contingency is to look at previous projects and see what you've had to charge. But for our purposes, we'll charge 3%. So on the BRGL, before we had the percentage format, we had to type in 0.0135. Since we have the percentage format, it actually rounds it up for us. And so we just need to type the number 3, enter, and we're good to go. The next one we're going to charge is our fee. Super important. This is, in theory, the amount of money that we're going to walk away from, or excuse me, the amount of money that we're going to walk away with on this project. And so every project is essentially an investment. We need to make sure that our investment is worth the effort. And so, again, depending on the project, you may charge higher or lower amounts depending on how competitive you want to be. It may actually be contracted between you and the owner. But for our purposes, let's just go ahead and say that it's going to be 5% of the project. The last one is going to be tax. Tax is tricky. It really depends on which state or which country you're working with, or which jurisdiction you're working with. A lot of owners, depending on the type of your project, the type of project you're building, could be tax exempt. For this estimate, let's go ahead and assume that we're going to have to charge 7.5% tax. Okay, and now we're good to go. Let's go ahead and add these values up. So let's go to cell F8 equals. We're going to go to cell E8, Shift 8, which is times. Then we're going to arrow up to the subtotal of the cost of construction. And before we press enter, let's go to this formula bar, highlight F7, and hit F4 on the top of your keyboard, or simply type $F $7. This will turn that cell F7 into an absolute value. And now, instead of having to retype this formula 3 different times, we can simply press Shift, arrow down 1, 2, 3 times to phi, and then press Control D. And this should bring everything down and keep that F7 while also multiplying by the percentage that we want for that row, which it looks like it's done. So if we go here to cell F9, it's done the same thing. Perfect. Okay. All right, and the last thing we're going to do is charge tax. This is going to be actually a little bit of a different formula. We're going to press the equals function and then sum. We're going to open parenthesis. We're going to hit the up arrow until we hit cell F7, and we're going to drag it down to F10. And then we're going to close parenthesis. We're going to press Shift F8, and then we're going to drag it over, so arrow to the left to that cell E11, charging that 7.5% tax, and press Enter. And so now we're charging tax on everything: our contingency, our fee, our builder's risk. I would say this is a super common mistake that people make, where they charge tax just to the subtotal of cost of construction, and they don't charge tax on their fee and end up having to pay more taxes later on. So this is the most conservative way to charge taxes. It's also what happens a lot of the time. So now what we're going to do is we're going to highlight this row 11, and we're going to scroll up here to the font tab. We're going to open up the border button, and we're going to select this top option, which is bottom border, and just click it. Perfect. And now we're going to now we're going to type in total in cell B12. Oh, excuse me. And then tab, 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 tab. Great. Now we're in cell F12. We're going to press equals sum. And we're going to do kind of the same thing, where we start in cell F7 and we drag it down to F11, close parenthesis, and there we go. And we're going to highlight these and press Control B. And there we go. So our total cost is $3,855.68. Thank you so much.